Well, it's my pleasure to welcome into AM 860 here in the studio, Clark Yeager, Lewis and Clark College Athletic Director. How are you doing tonight, Clark?
I'm great. Boy, it's fun to be here.
Well, it's glad to have you because, you have quite the athletic department, but it doesn't get a lot of media play in Portland, but it's Division III. And let's just talk, first of all, about the philosophy of Lewis and Clark Athletics and what you hope to accomplish when these student athletes enter as freshmen.
Probably in one word, it's probably about balance. It's a very rigorous academic environment that students come into, but they also have high aspirations athletically. They're very serious athletes. They want to train. And so the challenge for us is keeping that balance and competing.
Competing in well, first of all, if you talk about football, the Northwest Conference is one of the tough D3 conferences in the country. You've got the Willamettes, the Linfields, Whitworth, and the new kids on the Block Pacific. And in 2013, George Fox University is going to return to the football wars. Now, I know Lewis and Clark had an on and off time for football, but it's on again, right?
It's on and very healthy, particularly relative to 5 years ago.
Yeah, tell us about the genesis of, for a while, was it an economic decision, a philosophical decision to get rid of football?
No, it really was a safety decision.
That's what happened with Pacific years and years ago.
Yeah, ours wasn't precipitated by a single incident. Yeah. Ours was really the team had fallen to so few players, under 30, that the judgment was made, particularly partway through the season, as the attrition even made it worse, that it really wasn't in the health or best interest of these kids to put them up against teams, as you know, like Linfield and others that are very strong. And there's not much you can do to defend yourself against those big bodies. So the judgment was made, and rightfully so, that until the team got a little bit larger and stronger and could make it through the season, they were going to suspend the season. The next year and for the following couple years, we competed. The coaches, staff worked miracles to keep a team on the field, but we've grown now to where we can be competitive, and it's as safe as football can be for college students, and we look forward to competing in the conference.
So numbers-wise, in 2011?
I think we're going to have maybe, the history I've looked at is maybe 20 years old, but we're going to have a larger team than in any of those years. A very good recruiting class that goes along with a very large freshman class that speaks, I think, to the interest in and popularity of Lewis and Clark College. So we at least have, we've got out of the intensive care unit, at least in terms of as it comes to numbers. The games still have to be played, and the quality will be what decides them.
Sure. Clark Yeager is our guest, the athletic director at Lewis and Clark. And I think it's fantastic because in this day and age, one reason Pacific brought back football is because they needed more males to just get involved in a small liberal arts college. They weren't getting enough men, and that was one of the economic decisions they made. Football can attract young student athletes who can, become Pacific alums, and that all adds up over the years to have more people involved in the school and eventually more money.
Yeah, it's for us the other part of the balance that we speak about is a campus that has diversity by gender, by ethnicity, by socioeconomic classes is really important to make a vibrant campus where we can learn about the world and other people. And so as men become more difficult to admit to a particularly rigorous academic institutions, which is not something as a male I'm all that proud of, but it is in fact true. This is something that will attract them. And I think for the local area, Oregon as a whole, having football at George Fox, Pacific, Lewis and Clark, and the rest of the Northwest Conference is just a great for the state.
It is, and in this, you talk about the academic requirements, which are, a lot tougher than, say, some Pac-12 schools. University of Portland, same thing. They don't have football, but their academic standards are tough, and so are yours, right? I mean, they're pretty tough.
It is. It takes a very serious student to get into Lewis and Clark, and I can say that our football team and the rest of our teams, all of our student athletes, take that part of their life on Palatine Hill very seriously, and we really don't have problems academically with our kids. They do a great job, and that's the positive for coaches who would just as soon spend their time working with the kids on other things rather than making sure they're eligible to compete.
Clark Yeager's with us, and Clark, we're going to take a break in a minute, but I want to bring up the fact that, football at the Pac-12 level, we're the flagship for the Beavers. It's a revenue sport. Basketball's a revenue sport. In the small college arena, to raise money for the department, football's not cheap. Is that mainly alumni donations? Is it corporate donations? Is it all of the above, plus what revenue you can get from the ticket sales?
Yeah, it's one of the differences between sports generally, football particularly, at Division III schools. And essentially the college supports the football program just like it would any other program in theater or any other academic pursuit. So we luckily do not have to rely on gate receipts or even television or corporate partnerships. We do rely, maybe for different reasons, on alumni support, and that's growing.
And what's really cool, as I'm reading, they get the academic awards, but one of your tight ends, Sean Evans, named to the D3 Senior Classic 2011 preseason All-American football team. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And Sean is a great kid who transferred from Whitworth to be close to his father, who was sick. Okay. And he's worked hard in the classroom. I see him every day in the weight room. I try not to get too excited about preseason picks for anything because we all know you've got to play the game and everything can happen. But if anyone's deserved it, it's Sean.
Well, I'm looking at the schedule, and it's not an easy schedule. We'll talk about this schedule. Plus, there's a lot more than just football going on in your athletic department. We'll talk about that as well as we continue here on Northwest Sports Tonight. Clark Yeager, our guest, the athletic director at Lewis & Clark here on AM 860.
You're listening to Northwest Sports Tonight on AM 860 and kpam.com, the voice of Portland. AM 860 and the Portland Tribune.
Bringing you local breaking news like no one else. We are AM 860 and kpam.com,
the voice of Portland.
It's almost 7:30 on this Monday night. Don't forget, 8 o'clock tonight, Tom Alitas, who's president of the Tournament Golf Foundation. This is the 40th anniversary of the LPGA Safeway Classic, and that's pretty darn cool for them. He'll join us at 8 o'clock. And welcome back, Clark Yeager, here in studio with me, the athletic director at Lewis & Clark. Now, as we were talking in the break, you have 19 sports. I mean, we talk a lot about football because that's about ready to start, and everybody's excited about that. But how do you do it all, Clark? That's a lot of, that must keep you busy 24/7.
Yeah, it is busy. I've been doing it a while, so it's comfortable. And my kids tell me I've got a great job. They wonder how you get one of those. But really, I've got a great staff. I believe that our infrastructure, our support staff for our students and our coaches is at the very top of what's out there in Division III. So they really keep us going. We have a great, young, and enthusiastic coaching staff. So they make it fun to come to work every day.
You know, what's interesting, Clark, is you brought up Division III, and I'm familiar with it. Some people might not be. You know, you don't have full-ride scholarships for kids, right? I mean, if a kid wants to go to the school there and he can't afford it, but he's a great athlete and he wants to play D3, how can he follow up on that? Is it tough or what?
Well, it can be tough, but the college provides, as do many Division III schools, a lot of financial aid, either based upon academic achievements that students did early in high school, or financial aid based on the need that a family has. And so, in fact, for some families, under many circumstances, it can be a relatively value choice. And the the real nice thing about it is there's very few students